going on, guys? Welcome back to Commish'd, where this week Tom and I are going to be going over some players that we're looking to sell, some players that we'd be looking to buy if they're not already on waivers and where you can scoop them up. But as you can see, this first person that we're looking to sell, if you can sell him,
Yeah.
Miles Sanders.
Anybody want him?
I don't know.
I shouldn't say that. I traded him today. I got rid of him today.
I know. So someone does want him. Clearly.
I guess so.
I mean, why'd you trade him?
I traded him because he got me 1.8 points last week.
Yeah.
He's had one decent week out of, what, we're going into week 6?
No.
I mean, he's not a viable option to keep in my lineup. Yeah. I mean, thankfully, the rest of my team is picking up the slack for him.
Yeah.
But if I didn't trade him, he was literally going to be on my bench going forward until he steps it up.
Yeah.
But like he's not getting the ball. Chuba Hubbard out-snapped him or out-carried him last week.
Right.
So I mean, he's just, and people thought he'd be a good like pass catching option. That hasn't happened at all.
Right.
So like I had no need for him anymore. I was like, sayonara.
Yeah, and that was a big thing we talked about early on. We expected him to be involved in the passing game with a rookie quarterback, new team.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a terrible running back, but for fantasy, he's not
terrible.
good. I mean, right. I mean, right now you got 61 carries for 190 yards.
That's disgusting.
And 1 touchdown
through 5 weeks.
That's
not great.
Not ideal for a running back, and that's probably your starting running back if you have him. Most likely.
So at the point of when I drafted him, that was my RB2.
Yeah.
As I went on, he moved down to like my flex, and then if I didn't trade him today, he was on my bench.
Yeah, he was just gonna be that bench.
Yeah.
I mean, he's averaging about 8 points for fantasy.
Yeah. If I didn't trade him today, I was hoping that he went off so that people might be more interested in him. But hey, I woke up to an offer this morning. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Right. I mean, it's good to move on from him. I mean, you're not gonna be mad that you're getting rid of him. I don't think you're gonna miss him even if he has a game where he pops off. It's one that you're looking to get rid of.
For sure.
Again, it's just if you can sell him, you still want to get some value back for him.
Right.
I mean, at this rate, averaging 8 points, you can take a defense,
exactly.
At this point in time.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, and then moving on, we have Gibbs.
I was so high on Gibbs in the beginning of the year. He, in our league, my brother has him, like literally multiple times a week. Let me get Gibbs. I'll trade.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna trade him some solid people for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
And I am like, thank you that I did it. Dude, like Montgomery's obviously the guy there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
And we both were pretty high on Gibbs. Sure, I said that Montgomery would have a couple weeks early on where he'd be the guy, but I didn't expect him to be the only guy.
Like me, I thought he would produce after week 1. I was like, Montgomery will start out. You were saying this, that you were like, probably the first few weeks, it'll be more Montgomery, more like goal line stuff. Absolutely. But I think we were both like, give him 2-3 weeks and he's going to be like flourishing and he's going to be the guy. It has not happened.
Right. I mean, he's averaging 4.6 yards per carry, which is good for a running back, but he's not getting...
He's not getting enough.
Exactly. And when he does, he doesn't do anything with it.
Right.
So it's, 39 carries, 79 yards, and again, no touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's not ideal, especially where you probably took him early.
Right.
And you probably took him 2 or 3 rounds before David Montgomery.
At least I would say, yeah. So, I was texting my buddy who has Montgomery. I was like, that's a steal of the draft, I think. He's been a monster.
Yeah.
And like, for the Lions, there's no reason not to give him the ball. He's producing.
Until he stops.
Exactly.
If anything, I'm trying to sell Gibbs to whoever has Dave Montgomery.
For sure.
If they don't already have him.
For sure.
If you're in a league where that's probably your ideal.
Just give him a handcuff, try to get something back for him. At least somebody you can plug in, when there's bye weeks or whatever. Because you're not going to get a ton for him right now.
Not at all, especially 9 points he's averaging.
Yeah.
And that's, again, not ideal for a running back you probably took in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah.
If not.
That ain't it.
Exactly. Definitely not it. And next one, kind of a surprise here. Derrick Henry.
I mean, I think me and you both said we expected him to decline this year.
Yeah.
Just with the amount of wear and tear that he's had over the last, I mean, he's been a beast. He's been the king, you know, but it catches up to you.
Yeah.
He had one really good game this year, but after that, it's all just like pretty average.
Yeah, he's still, he's huge, but he's still, looking at the games so far this year, he's a lot slower.
Yeah, for sure.
He's still getting the volume, but he's not able to do much with it. He can still, throw people around.
Yeah.
But he can't hustle.
Yeah. He's getting, 3.8 per carry? That's not Derrick Henry.
No.
That's not Derrick Henry.
No, he's a guy you're getting 15 to 18 carries, but he's ripping off 150 yards.
Yeah,
and probably 2 touchdowns.
The thing is, I think right now is the time to sell him.
Yeah.
Because this is week 6. He's had a few decent games, one where he popped off.
Oh.
So, I don't think everybody is oh, Derrick Henry sucks. You could still get a decent return for him. I just don't want to... if I had him, I wouldn't want to go late into the season into playoffs with him, depending on what Derrick Henry you're going to get.
Yeah, true. Yeah, definitely try trading him now. This is one, though, where I would want to get something decent
Exactly.
So this is the only one you kind of want to be careful on how much you're giving and how much you're getting back.
You'll see the next person that we talk about, I would literally just drop. I've said it on the pod multiple times. He stinks.
Yeah.
He's a bum.
Not you, Derrick. Not you, Derrick Henry.
Derrick's all right.
But Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. He's the armpit of the tight ends here.
Yeah. Which, position rank, 17. So he's definitely in the bottom half of the league.
But hey, he's higher up than Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. I heard it this morning. Dawson Knox is Kincaid is 28th ranked, and Knox is last, 32nd.
Jeez.
So, hey, he's doing better than the Bills tight ends.
Bills, yeah. But not, again, everyone claimed he was going to be, the next best thing since Gronkowski, a unicorn, a freak of a man, which he is, but also his quarterback isn't a beast. He
has no quarterback.
So we don't know. Maybe if he was on a different team, different quarterback, sure,
I think he really needs a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
This week is the week to trade him as much as possible because he had one decent game.
Yeah.
So someone might see that and take it who might be hurting at tight end or who maybe lost a receiver this week and they need to pick up somewhere where they can.
Yeah. Any tight end injuries right now that you know?
Not right now.
Because I know Logan Thomas went off last week. Two people are going to be going after him. But I was going to say, if somebody had a tight end that was banged, I know the Bills actually, both their tight ends are injured. So if somebody has Knox or Kincaid as their starting tight end, God bless them. But maybe see if they could look into Pitts.
Yeah, or bye weeks, coming up there. You never know. You can try to get something. Maybe, you can probably get a tight end off waivers that might produce better than Pitts at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, Logan Thomas went off.
Yeah.
He's looking good.
Yeah. You could always go for someone like that. And then, 7.4 points for fantasy on average. Not great. Right. Kickers are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about it for our who we would sell. There's
obviously more people, but yeah.
Just for right now, those are just some kind of key bigger names, obviously, with Derrick Henry that I'd be tossing around.
Who would have thought? Us.
Right. And then now some buys that we're going to have. This is a player we're starting with first because Josh Downs, he might be on waivers, so you could probably just pick him up for nothing, drop whoever you need to. But he's starting to look like the number 2, solid in Indy.
Yeah.
Possibly could start becoming the number 1.
1B. For Pittman.
Yeah. Pittman's still going to be their clear number 1, but he's going to be right up there with him.
Right.
Minshew, I think, if he keeps playing, that just keeps Downs, even higher.
If Richardson comes back, I think his stock goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little. I would still take him for sure, just because he's producing at pretty decent clips.
Yeah.
So
he's a solid flex. He'll probably start getting you on average from maybe 11 to 15 points here or
I'm
there.
taking all day for
Maybe
a
he'll
flex.
get you 18
Yeah.
now and then. He can be like Jacoby Myers is with the Raiders.
Yeah.
How he's popping off here and there. So again, another player I wouldn't try, spending a lot to get.
Right.
Again, first check waivers.
Right.
And then maybe scoop him off waivers and trade him for someone. Pair him up.
Yeah.
That'd be a good little 2-for-1 type action. I mean, right now he's averaging about 9.2 points, but he just started, picking up the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it was. So, yeah, I like him.
Be a solid pickup.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have any touchdowns yet, but it's bound to happen. Okay.
Devonta Smith.
Yeah, Smith is, he's unique. Again, with A.J. Brown there.
Yeah.
Same thing. Wouldn't pay a ton to try to get him.
Right.
But I would definitely want him. He's a solid flex, even a solid number 2 receiver on your team. And someone's going to be probably looking to sell him after a stinker of a game that he just had.
Yeah.
Because he's been up and down this whole season, so people might be at that point with such a bad game that they're willing to trade him finally.
Yeah. I've been trying to get him all year.
Yeah.
Just because I thought he was going to have a breakout year this year. He's been good his whole career, but I thought he'd take it to the next level, which he's definitely had games where he has this year. Yeah. Obviously, last week he put up a pretty stinker game, but it's going to happen with everybody, I'm still trying to buy Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't give up a crazy amount for him. But, if you're in need of a wide receiver 2 or a flex, like Ian said, he's a perfect candidate.
Yep, absolutely. He's, again, solid. If you can get him and he's your flex, that's huge. That's like a championship team right there.
For sure.
If you have a 1 and 2 receiver that's a little bit better than him. 13 points per game's decent. I think he does start to pick it up towards the end of the season. Probably not the next 2 weeks or so, but he'll be solid. Again, like Tom just said, you don't want to pay too much to get him.
Even if you want to wait a week or two, if he has some not great games again, his stock just goes down even more. You could get him for less.
You just run a risk if he starts picking it up too soon. But then you could always wait. Yeah. And he's got 2 touchdowns.
He does.
So that's solid.
Whew.
This is a huge one. This one you're spending a lot to get.
Unless you drafted him like myself.
Unless you drafted him. Absolutely. But that's something where I think he's the number 1 right now with Jefferson down. You could argue Hawkinson, maybe, but he's a tight end. He's not going to be your number 1.
Right.
So I think Addison definitely is going to be huge.
Even
forward.
With Jefferson there, he still gets targets.
Yep.
Just because he's so fast, he gets open. If you watch the game against the Chiefs, he was constantly open.
Yeah. 3 touchdowns already. He's already averaging almost 13 points a game.
Yep.
Being behind the best receiver in the league, who now he's filling in. And Kirk, if he trusts him as the number 2, he clearly will trust him as the number 1, and he's going to feed him. Will he get that separation like Jefferson? Probably not, but there's
very few like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. But just the target share that's going to be there alone is enough to spend a lot for him. Again, you're not giving up Chase or DK or anything like that to get him, but you can pay a little bit.
You can pay for him, I would say. He started for me last week, a monster game, and with Jefferson out now and me having some people on buys, I'm more than comfortable plugging him in.
Yeah. Or you could say he's also a sell because people are going to be after him. But if you're selling him, you're going to want to get a lot.
I was going to say that I use him as trade bait.
Absolutely. Even after this game, if he pops off, sell him at that point, or just keep him if you need him, obviously. And our last one that we're going to be looking at Pacheco. He's having a pretty sneaky season where people aren't realizing it, and I think it's just because when people think Kansas City, you're thinking Kelsey and Mahomes, and that's it. You're not thinking about the running back.
Yeah.
And he's been solid.
He's been a monster.
Yeah.
He's been a monster. I have him in my guillotine league. I drafted him, and he's been solid. He's just been consistent every game.
Yeah.
which that's what you want. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have the consistency than the highs and lows.
Yeah.
Like a Tyreek Hill, right?
Oh.
He's going to have weeks where he's dropping 35, 40, but then he's going to have other weeks where he gets 5 points.
Yeah.
You know, I like the consistency. I like to know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
You know,
I made the mistake early because I was offered him, I think it was week 1 or 2 for James Cook, and I said no. But it was so close at that point. But now I'm kind of kicking myself because
I mean, Cook could turn it around. I think a lot of it is just play calling, but it is. I mean, at that point, I probably wouldn't have done Cook for Pacheco straight up.
No, not at that point. But
absolutely
I mean,
not. But
he's got 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's getting he's getting touchdowns. He's getting passes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 71 carries for 325 yards, which is solid. Right now, he's like the 12th ranked running back. I can see him jumping in the 10 soon.
Yeah.
So you get a top 10 running back. It might cost you a lot to get him right now, but same thing. I would pay him just for that offense alone. If he stays healthy, I mean, you're always plugging him in.
And he showed spurts of this in the playoffs last year. Like, people saw, like, hey, this dude can actually, he's decent. But then it seemed like everybody forgot about him.
Yeah.
Right, going into this year, myself included. I just, in a guillotine league, there's so many people, you got to kind of take who you can. But, I mean, in our league, I don't think anybody took him till pretty late.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a steal, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it was just because of all the names that were still in that backfield. But finally, once you figure out who's, the clear league back, which is him, it's, I mean, you're going to have to pay a lot to get him, but I would
get him. Yeah. I mean, especially with how often running backs get hurt, especially this year, like, you need somebody who's going to be able to stay in your lineup.
Yeah, so. If you have receivers and someone has a couple running backs that has him, I'm tossing as many as I can to get him.
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Awesome. Obviously, there's more people that we'd be looking to buy or sell right now. We just wanted to give you a few of the main guys that we, we're thinking about. If there's anybody that you can think of that you want to get rid of or you're looking to buy right now, let us know. I will let you know our thoughts. But before we close it out, anything else, Ian?
No.
All right. Well, as always, if we ain't your commish, stop being a